But if you try tapping your foot to it, it gets lost pretty quick. Good evening, good evening.
Hello. How's everyone?
Oh, we're good. How are you, Susan?
I'm on mute because I have a dog that barks, so I'm fine. How?
So this evening we're going to do, we're going to spend some time with one of the 5 animal frolics, the crane frolic. We're going to work on the first 2 movements of the crane frolic. This is some of the new material that I spoke of in recent email. And then we'll run through the 15. Keep that fresh. In my my own training, I've been fairly eclectic in the kinds of forms that I've studied. And, you know, while that makes me a bit of a mongrel in terms of lineage, it has taught me the value of doing different kinds of Qigong. They're different, they complement each other, they work the body in different ways, and I think you'll enjoy the crane tonight. We'll start with just 2 of the movements. There's 5 altogether, and this is the crane frolic written by or created by Master Jiao Guri. This is the gentleman that also came up with the 15 Tai Chi movements Qigong. So, the Master Jiao night. And we've got 8 people in the room. It's a good crowd.
Here we go. From Toronto to Pennsylvania to Delaware.
Yeah, Rose, Toronto is in the house. So we've got central Pennsylvania headed west. And we've got Toronto up north, Delaware down south. We're getting reach. Hey, the more the merrier. Qigong is good stuff. Happy to share.
I love doing it online. You know, the commute, you can't beat the commute.
That's right. Okay. So let me turn the music down another notch. And we'll start with sinking chi, washing the internal organs, and just for my own sake, anyone new in the room? Okay, there might be a new folks stepping in at some point, so I'm going to move a little more slowly through the material. And I got you all on mute. The recorder's going. So, sinking chi, washing the internal organs. This is from the Hunyuan Qigong series. The idea is to gather fresh chi from the environment around us. Imagine drawing it in through the top of the head, using the hands to guide this fresh chi down through the body, where it displaces and brushes aside stale and stagnant chi, which you can imagine being flushed out the bottom of the feet. Your respiration is normal and relaxed. really take your time. There is no hurry to move through the movement. If you have parts of your body that are in need of extra healing, loving kindness, and let your hands linger there a little bit. Filling up with fresh, vibrant chi, washing out the stagnant. Now, when we practice like this for maybe an hour, hour and 15 minutes, I usually do about 5 to 8 repetitions. When you practice on your own, you can do more. I went on a Qigong retreat once at a very nice location outside of Seattle, Washington. And we practiced this for about a half hour. And then we're going to move on to gathering chi at the 3 dantians. The first upper dantian is entered through this point between the eyebrows. So we reach out, gathering fresh chi. Imagine it being drawn in between the eyebrows, that space behind the eyebrows. And then we just trace down the center line to the middle dantian, which is behind the belly button. Gathering into that space behind the eyebrows and just tracing down. And Dantian, you can think of them as your chi gas tanks in the body, or batteries. Then we're going to gather chi to the middle dantian, which is located behind the belly button. Gather out in front of the abdomen. Draw in. And you can use your mental imagery to imagine that fresh chi going into that space behind the belly button. whether it's a visualization, auditory image, a feeling or kinesthetic touch image, or some combination. Just a few more. And then gathering chi to the lower dantian. I like to have a little wider stance for that. This one we gather chi from the earth, draw up through the soles of the feet, up through the legs, into the lower dantian through the hui yin point on the perianum, filling the dantian which is in the pelvic bowl. And then we trace up to the space between the kidneys to the belly button, the middle dantian. Filling the feet, legs, hips, low abdomen with fresh, vibrant chi. And bend over as far as you can comfortably. Even if you just imagine reaching down into the earth, drawing up the legs, up the thighs, into the hui yin, filling the pelvic bowl, and tracing up to the Ming Men, which is that spot between the kidneys, to the middle dantian. And when we finish a series of these exercises, we do a thing called closing. It's just gathering fresh chi from in front of the chest into the tanzong, which is the point between the nipples, down to the middle dantian. And this is an opportunity to just calm the body down, calm the breath down, settle. Okay. So, Master Jiao's animal frolics, the crane frolic. The starting move is the same as the first movement in the 15 Tai Chi movements, calming the Shen, regulating the breath. Inhaling up to the level of the heart, exhaling down to the middle dantian. I'll do it a little sideways so you can kind of see what's going on here. Imagine drawing chi up through the feet, through the legs, middle dantian, up to the heart, And then down to the middle dantian. Up from the soles of the feet to the lower dantian, to the middle dantian. Level of the heart. Down to the middle dantian. All right. Now, the first movement is called crane stepping. Hands are at the sides, front of the legs. Weight shifts to one foot. You step out, just a normal step, toe on the floor. No weight, just toe on the floor. And as you do that, you inhale and the hands spread to the sides. Not far out, just to the sides. And then as you shift your weight forward, exhaling, hands come together. Rear foot drawn up. I'm going to go from side to side so you can see my stepping a little bit easier. Then we turn around. And go back. Turn and go back. Now, pause for a second. One of the physical dynamics here is shifting your hips. Let's see if I can get close enough so you can see this. So here I'm standing on both feet. Now I'm just taking my hip and lifting one side. This knee is still bent, but I've lifted and my weight is now on this side. Then when I shift, I lift, my weight is on the other side. So that as you're doing this, there's this shift, hip shifting. A little extra movement. It's an internal movement. But it'll make the balancing much easier. Also, the head up. You try to watch your feet, your weight's going to be too far forward. Turn. Realize I went off camera on you. Now, as you're practicing, weights on one side, I shift forward. Weight's still on this side, shift the weight. Now the weight's on this side, this foot's unweighted. It's easy to come up and go forward, then shift the weight. Come up, go forward, shift the weight. Come up, go forward, shift the weight. Up, forward, shift the weight. So the crane is about one-legged stances. The first one's a little forgiving. You don't have to lift the leg very far, and the hands are not doing too much. Gives you the chance to learn the dynamics of the hips. That's number one. Crane stepping. This is crane spreading wings. I'll do it facing you and then I'll do it sideways. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay? Turning. Crane spreading its wings. So to review, calming the spirit, regulating the breath. Then crane walking. Turning. Then crane spreading wings. Turning. And then we finish again with closing. So, first three parts of the crane frolic. Oh, we got 12 people in the room. Very nice. Practice, practice, practice. You practice this and your way of walking will change. The way you move from one foot to another will change. It'll be gradual, but at one point you'll notice, oi, I'm doing it all different now. All right. The 15 Tai Chi movements, the 3 opening movements. Holding the barrels. Feet shoulders width, knees a little bent. From the side, shoulders are back, relaxed, elbows down, fingers pointing toward the belt line. This is a form of a standing meditation. So you just set the posture and relax. Breathe as deep as you're able. explore breathing down to your low back. For those of you who are practicing the meditative guidance of Qi, Xing Qi exercise, imagine drawing Qi up through the feet, up the legs to the lower dantian, middle dantian, level of the heart, out the arms to the fingertips, right to this belt line. Around the middle of the body, from the spine to the belly button, is the one vessel that travels the body horizontally. It's called the Dai Mai, the belt vessel. And this position charges that meridian or that vessel up. It is thought of as a reservoir for the rest of the acupuncture meridian systems. All right, opening movement 2, tracing the Tai Chi circle. Fingers pointing toward the center line, hands pressing down. It's the starting position. Then one of your hands, you curl the fingers like this. It's called curling the fish's tail. And scoop up to the opposite shoulder. Wave high. Then trace an S. Bring the hand up like you're shielding your eyes from the sun. Rotate, drop the elbow like you're carrying a tray. And scoop back down to the starting position. And we do the other side. Curling the fish's tail. Waving high. Continuing the S. Shielding the eyes. Carrying a tray. Back to the beginning. So you imagine a circle with an S. A yin yang. And that's what we're tracing. First in one direction. Then in the other. It's a symbol of the balance of opposites. The yin being softer, cooler, quieter, Qi energy. Yang being warmer, more vigorous, male energy. And we're a combination of both. These movements are also kind of silk reeling exercise where you're rotating the wrist and the arm. One more on each side. Curling. Waving high, the S. Shielding the eyes. Carrying a tray. Back to the beginning. Curling. Waving. S. Shielding. Carrying a tray. Back to the beginning. The third opening movement. Embracing the breath. Hands pressing down. Opening. Big inhale. Closing. Big exhale. Pardon me. Then the first movement, calming the shin, regulating the breath. Movement 2, parting the clouds, embracing the moon. So the arms come up like you're pushing aside clouds. And then you reach out, hold the moon, bring it in, guide it down. Parting clouds. The moon is yin energy into the upper dantian, guided down to the middle dantian. Then, movement 3, lifting and sinking ball. Step out, split, lift and sink. Weights on the front foot. Scoop to capture the ball again at the middle dantian. Shift, split, lift and sink. Now we're going to transition to do this on the other side. We do that by drawing in the front foot, rolling the hands, stepping out, split, sink and lift, scoop and gather. Now we're going to transition to the second part of this. We draw on the front foot. We don't roll the ball. Step out. Now the opposite hands, sink and lift. Draw back, scoop, split, sink and lift. If there's anyone new in the group, just follow along as best you can. Shifting to the other foot. Rolling the ball. Don't even worry about remembering everything. That's why I'm recording it. Just follow along as best you can. Some of the people in this group have been working on this form with me for well over a year. So be kind to yourself. Now we're going to transition to number 4, pushing up a mountain. Hands drawn back. Step out. Push out at the level of the belly. Rise to the level of the head. Embrace. Draw in and down. Push out, up, draw in and down. And the transition, draw in the front foot, shift the weight, step out, prepare the hands, push out, up. Weight on the front foot, weight on the rear foot. And when you shift your weight from the front to the back and back to the front, move your hips all the way out. So it's not just leaning into it, it's actually moving into it. Now, number 5, cloud hands in horse stance. Arms like you're holding a big tree. So the hand that's high, that leg comes up. And you step out into a horse stance. Sit into it. And you turn in the direction of the upper hand. And then we switch hands. Turn. So I'm not really moving my arms from left to right. I'm just turning my body from left to right. And that's why we call them cloud hands. They just float along. Like they're blown by the wind. Now, I'm going to do a transition. Come over, reach out, draw in the other foot. Switch the hands. Up, step out, and right back into this again. Moving in the opposite directions. That's 3 reps. Now the transition to movement 6. Reach out, draw the Opposite foot in. Hands like a peak over your head. Arms out. Come together over the middle dantian. This is number 6. The great palm spreads its wings. Step out. Front leg. Rear leg. Relax your shoulders. Drop the elbows. Then the transition, draw on the front foot, switch the weight, step out. Now we're going to transition to number 7. Red dragon flexing its claws, holding a ball. The hand that's on top, that's the foot that steps out. Brush the knee. Follow the hand. Shift the weight. And the hand comes right over the shoulder. This is the flexing. And then back to holding a ball. Roll it. Brush the knee. Now the transition, don't roll the hands. Step back in, turn, step out, brush the knee, follow the hand. Then number 8, dunking a ball or pushing a ball underwater. Hands in this kind of an oval this way. Step out, draw up, push out, push down, draw back. Then transition, draw on the front foot, turn, step out. One more. Then number 9, pushing the ball aside. Step out, push out, and then turn to the side. Shift back. Draw in. Then transition. Then number 10, peacock spreading its tail. Hands, palms together, and then you peel them apart from the fingertips to the wrist, and then apart. You go to the rear leg, and just reverse it, coming back together. Extending, drawing into the middle dantian. Okay, switching sides, draw on the front leg, turn, step out. And number 12. I'm sorry, number 11. White crane spreading its wings. Switch weight. So the hands and the front leg move simultaneously. And wild horse parting its mane. One hand palm facing in, one hand palm facing out. The front hand, that leg goes up, step out. Palm facing in, goes up. And reach out, switch the hands, step up, step out. And double circles around the moon. Draw the feet closer together, Wuji stance. Get back a little further. Palms up, circling. Legs are straight. You're stretching the hamstrings and the low back. Scooping. Arms in the form of a circle. Coming up. Rotate the palms up. Scooping. That's 5. And then movement 14. Squats with arms parallel to the ground. Upper body as upright as you can maintain. Shoulders relaxed. Then the elephant energizing his waist. The hands are formed like this against the low back. And we do a circle with the waist. Oops. And reverse. And that's the 15. Now the closing moves. 5 massage movements. First one, palms of the hand against the low back, over the kidneys. Just rubbing up and down, heating them up. Heating up the low back. And then place your hands right over the kidneys and imagine that you're pouring fresh qi into the kidneys. The palm of your hand should be almost exactly over what's called the kidney shu point, S-H-U. That's an acupuncture point that directs energy right into the kidneys. Very nice. Then movement 2, massaging the belt vessel. So hands on the low back, on the level of the belt, and you press around to the front. This is massaging and stimulating the belt vessel, which is seen as a reservoir of qi for all the other vessels, all the other meridians in the body. So the reservoir pours fresh, vibrant qi into those other channels. Then massage the middle dantian itself. The middle of the palm has a minor energy center there, or dantian, called the Laogong, Laogong. That point over the belly button, that point in the other hand over the back of the first hand, and you push the belly button around. And then you start making a small circle around the belly button. Gradually spiral outward so that you're eventually going as low as the pubic bone, as wide as the side of the body, as high as the lower ribs, and around, spiraling outward. And then we reverse it and spiral inward. Gradually making the circle a little smaller, with the belly button as the center. Until you're right over the belly button, pushing it around in the opposite direction. That's very nice. Number 4, massaging the Laogong themselves. We want to rub them with the finger pads, not the whole palm, just the finger pads. Back and forth. Relax the hands. And then we're going to gather qi back to its origin. In this case, the origin is the middle dantian, up to the shoulders, out, gathering into the middle dantian. Gathering qi into the middle dantian, that space between the back of the belly button and the front of the spine. And closing. There we go. 15 Tai Chi movements plus 3 opening and 5 closings. So please unmute. Hey, Barbara. So we're up to 12, now we're down to 10. So, any questions or comments? It's a lot of material. Any new folks in the room? Nope, all regulars. Okay. You're all so quiet.
Thanks for the new material in the beginning.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for the new material in the beginning.
Oh, you're welcome. That's the crane frolic. There's 5 movements. We've done the opening and the first 2. And over the month, we'll add the other 3. But practice, of course, practice everything. Practice those. Because you're going to strengthen your legs. You're going to strengthen your sense of balance. And you'll certainly need those for the last 3. I know what's coming. So practice. It will definitely, it's like a virus that way. Once you start doing it, it'll work its way into how you walk. And walking, your foot will just go out ever so lightly and you'll step into it. Oh, it's wonderful.
They're very graceful moves.
Yes. So a crane, the spirit of the crane is one of soaring above it all. So this idea of rising above the trials and tribulations. And of all the frolics that I've done, that one makes me the most quiet internally because there's so much emphasis on balance. You can't have a lot of chatter going on in your head and put your weight on one foot and do something with the other one and the arms. So
it reminded me a lot of walking meditation.
Yes.
I remember the first time I did a walking meditation, I felt off balance because when you walk that slowly, oops, whoa.
Exactly.
So this is very similar to that. You have to really focus and balance as you move.
Exactly. Because you take momentum out of it, you're not falling into your next step.
Right.
You're putting one out, you're shifting over to it. It's wonderful stuff. Absolutely wonderful stuff. The other frolics that are in the gate, the bear frolic is a lumbering, grounded, steady kind of thing. You have to think a bear is, looks clumsy on the outside, but on the inside, very nimble and very balanced. The deer frolic, which is, kind of nimble on the feet and the beginning of kind of getting in your face. I don't know if you've ever been around deer when they're challenging each other for territory. They charge. They get right in there. So that's the deer. The tiger frolic is all about power going out. Still balanced, steady, but that outward movement. The last one is the monkey frolic, and the monkey frolic is light, agile, and nimble. So we'll take our time. We'll do this over several months because each one of them has 5 movements. They're not terribly complicated. If we were doing this at a retreat, we could get all 5 of them in about 45 minutes. You'd have them all. You'd have all the movements. The mastery of it, that's what takes the time. But yeah, we'll start with crane because that's just, you start getting the sense of how that goes in your walking in day-to-day life will change. I guarantee. So thank you very much for coming out this
Thank you.
beginning of the new year.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I encourage you over
Thank
the
you.
next 3 days, stay calm, stay centered, practice your Qigong, keep your breath your own. Don't let the crazies drive you out of your sense of balance and stability. If you can be a steady source of calmness and strength to the world around you, you have added something positive to life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Everyone.
Good night, Toronto.
Good night.
Good night, Delaware.
Good night.
Good night, Central Pennsylvania.